Hello Year 5 team, I just wanted to make a very brief video to introduce the new Year 5 RE scheme of work for this half term and talk a little bit about how this new RE curriculum works and things like the timings of it and the flexibility that you have as teachers as well. These are lessons designed still to fit in that 30-minute RE slot. I'm really interested. One of the things I kind of want from you is a bit of feedback on how these are going. I'm going to be planning the autumn 2, spring 1, spring 2 schemes of work over the next few months, and I'm really curious about a couple of things, which is pitching, whether this is pitched correctly for Year 5, the content itself, whether you think it's the PowerPoints work and things like that, but really the timing as well. You know, does this fit into a half-hour lesson? Is it too much? Is it too little? The term autumn 1 topic is amazing. I love Hinduism. It's an introduction to Hinduism. Then in spring 1, there's also a Hindu practices. So if you're thinking like, oh, there's nothing in here about prayer, there's nothing in here about festivals, that's all coming in spring 2, spring 1 or spring 2, can't remember. Lesson 1, so I'll just take you through the lessons very briefly. Lesson 1 is when did Hinduism begin? Well, the answer is a really long time ago, 3,000 years ago. Who founded Hinduism? A bit in Hinduism in Britain. Now you'll see that there's quite a lot of text here that's also on the PowerPoint as well, and I've done that consciously to give you the choice between doing it as guided or individual reading or paired reading and doing it as teacher-led. Now you obviously could do the whole half hour as teacher-led, and that's probably what I would do with maybe a bit of guided reading, but then the choice is there as well for you. You can basically do whatever you want with this content, as long as they're learning the content, as it were. You know, when we get to looking at the story, for example, of Ganesha in lesson 3, that could be a drama activity. It's completely up to you in terms of how you're presenting it. Lesson 2 is looking at Hindu beliefs about God. Very interesting. Not a polytheistic or many-godded religion as many people think. Not really monotheistic either. And I'm trying to get some of that nuance across here, that Hinduism is very diverse, and you know, we're not just teaching kind of Key Stage 1 stuff like Hinduism believes in many gods. Yes, they do, but they also believe that those gods are, you know, versions of a supreme god. And all of this is explained. Again, I think for a lot of people, myself included, subject knowledge on Hinduism, Buddhism, these kind of religions isn't perfect or great. My Hinduism knowledge isn't brilliant, which is why I've made the PowerPoints almost quite texty to help you with that subject knowledge, to get as much across as possible without falling back on what you personally know, because it wouldn't be great for me. Story of Ganesha, which I love, about how Ganesha ended up with an elephant head, is lesson 3 with a quick storyboarding activity. Lesson 4, what the Hindus believe about life and death, looking at rebirth, samsara, karma. Just so fascinating, so interesting. And again, there's lots of fair amount of text, maybe like 5-10 minutes of reading there, and 5 or 10 minutes of written activities, and then 5 or 10 minutes of discussion. Lesson 5, how do Hindu people use images of gods, with a labelling exercise for a picture of Vishnu, and the PowerPoint goes into detail about the 4 objects that Vishnu is holding. Lesson 6, the final lesson, is all about the Om, which is really interesting. The Om is more than just a sound. It's actually a representation of these 2 Hindu beliefs in the Atman and the Brahman. Again, explained on here, explained in the PowerPoint, but there's also a video to watch here of the Om meditation. So I think that's really interesting. The last activity is just a bit of a recall. How many of these questions can you answer? Bit of lined paper there. So hopefully you'll find Hinduism as interesting as I do. Please do get in touch with any feedback. As I say, I'm going to be planning next half term's lessons, and I just want to know, is the pitch right? Is the timing right? What are the resources like? And is it interesting for the students as well? I'm really looking forward to seeing how these new schemes of work go down, and I will speak to you all after the summer holidays. Right, have a great summer. Bye bye.